Richard Fitzgerald. This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city.
That business with scalability was very interesting to me.
I like building something that has legacy.
End of August 2022, the summer is over. People are coming back to Dubai from their summer holidays. There's a back to school feeling about it. There's also a business sense of entering into the final month of Q3 and into Q4 in a very positive year for the UAE economy. Many businesses are doing well. The GDP is growing, and there's lots of reasons to be excited about. Loads of events coming up, loads of things happening in the city in the next few months, and of course a World Cup in the region. But one such company who's doing really well and really optimistic at the moment is our guest today. They're a holding group of services and salons, and their very well experienced CEO Vincenzo talks us through the background story, talks us through the different products, the different services. You will know the brands if you've been in Dubai for any number of years, and we really get a good overview to how this business is structured and how this business is run. So enjoy the conversation. Welcome back to another episode of Dubai Works Business Podcast. Another leading business person figure in Dubai joins us this week as usual. We are with Vincenzo Minore, if I have it right.
Perfect.
The CEO of TGC Holdings, which includes brands like Sisters, N.bar, 1847, which I think is one of the first brands I used personally here 10 years ago. So many brands that people will know of, where it's a holding company comprising of beauty, wellness and grooming companies under its belt, all of which have taken the initiative to reduce waste in their everyday business practices. So we'll hear about that. We'll hear about the origins and the beauty industry in general. Good morning, Vincenzo.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Thanks for coming in. So tell us a little bit about the company and what you do.
Yeah, in fact, when you say the grooming company holding, like it's a holding that holds different brands in Dubai. So as you said, we have Sisters Beauty Lounge, that is a brand for women only. Is at 360 degrees pampering. It means that a woman that goes in a Sisters, she will find all services from hair to face to body to nails. So she will find all the services under the same roof. And this was kind of a concept created more than 10 years ago. And it was created because women get more and more busy, and to move from a place to another to have all their beauty services is with the traffic and everything, and picking up the kids from school. So it was making sense to have this kind of concept where you sit in a chair and you can have a mani-pedi and somebody making your hair at the same time. So this is kind of Sister Beauty Lounge. We have like 6 stores in Dubai. We have refreshed the brands 2 years ago in launching in MOE and now in City Walk also. Amazing. So we are in department store, but also in location that are not department stores.
When was the first one, and where was it?
The first one, it was the Village Mall. We still have this location, but the 2 biggest location is in Dubai Mall and in Mall of Emirates. And then now the latest addition is City Walk. It also because after COVID, not everybody was like confident to go in a big mall. Now people are coming back, of course, but it's more kind of a community. And then we have another 2 sisters in Abu Dhabi, one in St. Regis Hotel and one in an area in Al Batin. That is like also some good locations.
Nice.
So we have 8 in total in the UAE. Then 8047 for men is like it's the same concept if you want to Sister Beauty Lounge, but for men's, where men have all the services like shaving and hair. Then we call them the studios. You can have your mani-pedi.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. I came from London 4 years ago in Dubai, and 50% of the business for men is mani-pedi.
Yeah.
But it also makes sense, like, because when you're local, what you really see is your beard, your face, your hands.
Yeah.
And when you wear sandals, you see your pedi. So it's a big business
Yeah.
related
Yeah.
locally. But we see also a lot of like expats taking advantage of services like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I will never go back to do my feet myself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is like where you sit in a chair, you can have mani and pedi, and somebody maybe will have like a shoulder massage or a mini facial. And then you have other services like face and body and massages. So it's like the same concept. You go in.
And good barbers as well.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have 2 stores now in Abu Dhabi, and we have 10 in Dubai and growing. And we also started franchising 1847. We have like 2 locations in Qatar.
Ah, interesting.
And we are looking for more countries. So if you want, globally, we will speak later on, but one of our strategies is like still grow in the region and in Dubai, but also export this knowledge and experience abroad. Because a concept like 1847, you hardly find it elsewhere.
So that's interesting. So the grooming company, when was it originally established?
So the grooming company Holding is like a company, it's quite new. It's like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And what they did, it's a private equity based in Dubai. And they bought this kind of different brands in beauty services. So they bought Sisters, then they bought half of TGC, that is a company that has 1847 for men. N.bar. N.bar is a concept for nails for women only. We have 15 stores in Dubai.
Yeah.
And now growing, looking to grow in Abu Dhabi.
It's an original brand from this region as well.
Exactly. Okay. Also founded in this region.
Amazing.
Yes. 1847, N.bar and Jet Set was founded by Negin. That is like the founder of this concept.
Yeah.
And she created this concept in Dubai.
What's Jet Set?
Jet Set is a brand that we have, it's a hair brand.
Okay.
It's a hair salon. We have one store in Grosvenor House and one in Emirates Towers.
Okay.
And is a store where we have men stylists working on women, because the license allow us this kind of service, because we are there is license linked to the hotel.
Brilliant.
Sisters is all women for women. And also the story was like founded by women, by some sisters, and that they created Sisters as founded by women for women, right? And today our kind of slogan is created by sisters for sisters.
Nice. There you go.
The idea behind this is to create a community and people that they gather with the same values.
Yeah. So fascinating. So these brands, some of them were already set up. The group comes together, puts it all together.
Exactly.
Needs someone to run it.
Yeah, exactly.
Picks you out of London. How
it's
does that happen?
It's a bit more complicated. So the group grows in Dubai, buys the gems of brands in Dubai, because we all know that these kind of brands are like at the top on the market. Yeah. When they bought it, there was not so many locations, so we grew the location in Dubai, and then started to look also abroad. So what they bought another 3 kind of brands in the UK. One is called Trevor Sorbie, is the hairdresser of the Queen still today.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
they have we have 6 locations in the UK, and we then took one of these locations and we exported a location in Dubai. So in Dubai Mall, you have also a Trevor Sorbie salon, all run with British stylists that they are vetted and they use the Trevor Sorbie way of doing, and they're in Dubai. So we have 6 in the UK and 1 in Dubai. Then we have strip hair removal hair expert. So it's kind of boutique hair removal. It's like about waxing and laser to remove your body hair. Yeah. And then we have another brand that is called Murdoch London. Is more or less is like 3 barber shops in Covent Garden, Soho, and Shoreditch.
Shoreditch,
but it's more a brand of products. So we are selling Mordor London in the US, in Nordstrom, in Marcus Neiman. We are expanding the brand internationally.
That's amazing.
That's why when they looked for somebody to run all this one, and I'm a veteran of beauty. I've been in beauty many years, working for corporations, working for startups, and I was contacted for this role. And just in January 2018, I was here with my son on holiday, and I put Dubai on my plan because I was fascinated about the speed, the vision, what you can get out of a desert. I'm very always kind of fascinated about. I'm curious about something new, innovation, tech, and I think Dubai is spot on all these values that I'm striving and I look for.
Yeah. So it must have been a really compelling proposition to run. You know, what you described there is quite an impressive collection of brands with, you know, catering towards different kind of modern needs, different markets, born out of the region with ambitions. And then also that, you know, working in the city as well. So where were you before? How did you get into, you mentioned you're into beauty. To what degree? Did you study it?
No, it's like, first for my family, like my grandfather was a barber from Italy.
Amazing.
That moves to Switzerland. And he married my grandmother that was also a hairdresser.
Okay, no way. Did they meet in a salon?
I don't know really the story, but I know that they have a salon together.
Amazing.
And then my grandfather was more kind of a commercial guy. So he left the job of barbering and he started to sell products. And he was like a distributor for L'Oreal in Switzerland, for half of Switzerland. And my grandmother started to open a perfumery and she finished to have 4 different perfumeries. So they moved from a hard craft work to be like more working in a commercial field. And thereafter, my father and my mother was also in the same field. So I grew up in the evening hearing people speaking about the industry. Yeah. So it was ingrained in me. So when I started marketing and I started to do some working experience, I started to do working experience in beauty because it was the kind of obvious link because the connection of the family were there. And then I started to work for L'Oreal many years ago. So I worked 18 years at L'Oreal.
Amazing.
And what was great at L'Oreal is that you move from country to country. You have opportunity to build your career in moving country, but also changing jobs. So I worked for L'Oreal in Italy, in the UK, in Austria, in Slovenia. I moved around quite a lot.
What kind of jobs did you do?
I did everything. So when you, at the time at L'Oreal, when you started, you needed to put your hand into the real work. So I did 6 months of, at the time, perming was something that was in vogue. So I learned how to color hair and how to do a perm, how to wash hair. So you do the basics, right? And then I went out to sell for 1 year as a sales reps. Although my background was marketing. And then I started in marketing and then I moved on and then I became GM for L'Oreal in many countries. And after being general manager in many countries, then I decided to leave L'Oreal and I moved to Estée Lauder. That is another more kind of another group in luxury. When I worked on a brand called Aveda for many years, for 7 years. I did Italy, I did the UK, and then I moved to Hong Kong and I did the whole region of Asia Pacific. That was also super interesting because I was living in Hong Kong, but every week I was moving around, Japan, Korea, China, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Australia. So it was a never-ending trip. Yeah, I did 7 times the world tour during these 3 years.
Are you one of these people who, as their career advances, sort of doesn't want to do as much travel, or do you still have the lust for new markets and things like that with business?
I think it's inevitable when you are very successful in one country that the next step and then is go abroad. It's a bit what we do now at the grooming company Holding. The brands that are doing very well And we trial, like N.bar, I told you before, we have 15 stores here in Dubai. Now we are starting to look into Abu Dhabi because we don't have any in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
But we have already started franchising. So we have soon 3 stores in Qatar for N.bar.
Yeah.
We have already 2 in the UK. We opened the first flagship in Canada, in Vancouver. We opened already the second one in Saudi is going to open in a few weeks. So
Busy.
it's when you're very strong in one place and you come to saturation, then the next step is like where you can expand, where you can develop yourself. And the way of doing nails in Dubai is very professional, very thorough, very neat. We have SOPs and techniques that are very advanced. And we noticed that when you go in the UK market, we have really some competitive advantages. So why not start to expand this way of doing this of Dubai abroad and bring a bit of Dubai, of the dream to Dubai also in other countries.
Interesting. Fascinating. So much experience, so many questions about those different countries. But just a little bit on the type of business that it is. You know, from the outside, from the consumer side, you know, they like me would go into 1847, have a good experience and think that not necessarily need to know how the business works, but how do you describe how the business works? What would you relate it to? Is it like a restaurant? Is it the service industry? Do you need,
It's definitely a service industry.
Okay.
So what you need for 2 things. The first one, in our places, is not really only a functional service. I'll give you an example what I mean by functional. If you have to do your nails, functional will means I cut them, I file them, and they are ready to go, right? When you go in 1847, you will find the functionality, so you will find a perfect work, but you will also find the ambience and the experience. So you will sit in a chair in a studio that is super comfortable, where you put your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever. I don't want to do advertising, but they slip to me on the chair, and you can charge your phone. In front of you, you have a TV where you can choose any film
to give you comfortable headphones
on Netflix. You have your headphones that you can either listen to music or look at the television, right? You receive your coffee or tea or whatever you want. When you have your feet done, they ask you if they want to polish your shoes. Somebody is going to offer you, if you want a massage, so the massage at the same time. They will put you, if you want, kind of a shoulder neck heated. So it's not just the functionality of cutting your nails. You will get all the experience around. That makes it a fantastic experience also to chill out for a moment, right? Take a break. Normally, personally, I go at the end of the week. I feel a bit exhausted. It's my 1.5 hours of pampering. So I go out and I have my fresh haircut, my fresh shaved, and my nails done. But I also feel relaxed because it was like a moment that I was not on the phone. You have to decide not to go on the phone, but it's a moment if you wanted. It's a moment that you want just to chill out and so on. So this definitely it's a different experience. But coming back to your question, it is a service, right? So what we try to do, we do a lot of effort on training. We call them SOP, so it's like service protocols. So when you go to have a signature muscle melt massage on 1847, you will find the same experience in every shop. Right? You will find some adaptation because maybe one day you have more pain on the top of your neck or your shoulder, so there will be some adaptation, but the experience you will find is the same. And to arrive to this level of a sophistication of services, you need first of all a protocol, so everybody has to follow it, and we enhance our protocol all the time. Like last year, we kind of enhanced our 1847 shaving signature in putting more services inside.
Interesting.
We do the mini facial when you have a shaving and stuff like that. So we enhance our services all the time. But at the end, you are relying on a therapist, right? If tomorrow I wake up in a bad mood, it will have a reflection of my work and on my customer, right?
And do they have freedom to sort of, do they really have to follow the service level protocol and everything? And can they be a little bit creative as well?
Ideally, it depends of what it is, right?
Yeah.
If you cut hair, of course, you have to be creative, right? For a shave, there is a protocol where you go through different steps and everybody is not the same.
Yeah.
As I told you, as a massage, like the entry of the massage, the end of the massage, some of phases of the massage is like standardized. But of course, everybody has different needs. So you will need to bring some personalization.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing nails, it's quite a processed, I mean, they will ask you, do you want them shiny or not shiny? Do you want to have at the end a hand massage with like oil of cream? So this is the level of personalization, but is part of the protocol.
And from a recruitment point of view, where do you bring the talent from and what sort of talent do you look for?
I mean, after COVID, I think every industry now is kind of into the same issue, right?
Yeah.
Catching up and finding good stuff, right? We see this because we are international. We see this one
really
in Dubai. We see that in the UK is even worse because they decided to go a different path. So it's even more difficult to get people. But you have a bit like specialty. So I noticed that we have more than 900 people in our group, right? Working across like 60. If you count our own store plus franchises, like 60 locations.
Yeah.
So we noticed that when we recruit, like in nails, we recruit a lot from the Philippines because they're very, 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 very good in doing nails.
That persistent, very friendly, very polite,
and very talented.
Yeah, and have that attention to detail as well.
Exactly. In massages, we have. I don't want to be kind of generic, but I noticed that we have a lot of good therapists coming from Thailand because they have already the skills in this country and the heritage. In barbering, you have kind of two groups. Sometimes you have like more kind of European and sometimes more kind of Middle Eastern, like Levant, Syria,
Turkish,
Levant, Turkey, yes. That's gathered also to different styles, right? It's quite funny because like you think is a shave, but a consumer that Middle Eastern is looking for something more that is different than somebody is coming from London, for instance.
Yeah, interesting.
So there are different styles, and it doesn't depend of your nationality as a stylist, but you need to know how to personalize and how to gather to different customer needs.
Interesting. And some, especially Murdoch, but some of your other stores as well have their own products.
Yeah.
Roughly, what's the sort of revenue split between service and products? You mentioned it was a service business, so I'm assuming.
So in the industry, normally, the kind of retail of in salons is the average. I see it across the world is around 5-6%.
For products.
So in average around the world, we are more than double of that.
Okay,
but it depends also the location of your salons.
Yeah,
it depends of the education and how skilled are your team in not in selling but in advising. I don't really think it's a sales. It's normally especially for men, but also for women. You have an issue, you want to solve it, or you have a style and you want to perpetuate this style at home. So you ask, how it's great, but how I'm going to do it tomorrow? So it's part of the profession to explain, okay, tomorrow when you wash your hair, do this like this. I think it's very important for a professional giving tips to consumer so that can perpetuate the result of the salon. And sometimes you need the right set of products, right? If you have very thin hair and you use a very heavy shampoo, your hair will not have any volume and it will go down, right? So using the right products at the right moment for the right result, I think is an advice that stylists have to give or therapists have to give. And at the end, you buy it because you see a need. It's not because just somebody's selling you something.
And with that, is that, products that you stock, but also your own products?
It's a mix. It's a mix between three things. One is product that we buy in the market, like in Dubai here. The second thing, we have also a distribution company where we pick some nice niche brands around the world, and we import them in Dubai. We launch them in our salon, but we also serve our competitors or malls in the region. And then some of the brand is our brands, like Murdoch London. We own the brand as a group in London. We are also the distributor of the brand. We also selling in 1847, but also in Harvey Nichols in other stores.
Yeah. So that the distribution handles that as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite interesting because you can fulfill different needs and you're still in control of the marketing what you do, right? And if you want one bucket is helping the other bucket, and all in all, you kind of offer an experience that nobody else has.
Interesting. And kind of talking a little bit about the industry, if what's the sort of average profit margin in a salon? Is it 5%? Is it 20%? Like globally, what would be the sort of margins?
It really depends of the markets, right? You have some markets where rents are very high. You have markets where staff costs are very high. Now, like in the UK, you have all this kind of issues with energy and so on and so on. So all the costs globally, costs are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
If you want to go like an average that I see across many regions, between Asia, between Europe, between here, I also work like 6 months in the US. I will take like a big number, a number that is like a big average is around 10%.
Okay. Interesting. Good benchmark. It's just interesting to compare because when I look at the service industry and marketing services or that type of services, you could look at between 15 and 25%. But then when you look at coffee shops, an average margin is 3 to 5%. So it's kind of somewhere in between. Yeah. But leading on from that, then competition is rife. There's lots of salons everywhere. Yeah. So what's your view? First of all, to make it simple, what's your view of the Dubai market? Is it competitive? And the
Dubai market is very. But sorry, before I go on this one, just an interesting fact. So when you want to scale one of our businesses, scaling means making more footfall. Making more footfall means making more services. Making more services is more power. So when you have like discussion like on rent, for instance, if I sell clothes, I have 2 people serving clothes. If I sell 50, 100 clothes, more or less, I will need 2 people. In our industry, if you double the services, you need to double the manpower because nails, somebody has to do them, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's a different kind of...
It's a different business, yeah.
It's a different business where it's very much attached also to the first question that you said, how you say, yes, it's services. You need to serve. And a coffee shop, it depends, right? If you serve to the tables, you are into the kind of setting. But if you just serve coffee from the bar, you can double your bar. Maybe you can use the same barista. Right? So coming back to the competition in Dubai, yes, there is a lot of competition. I think L'Oreal told me that there is like 3,500 salons or something like that. But what you see is like a concentration. So you see, we are a group. As us, there are another 3 or 4 groups, right? That they have
similar holding structure with multiple franchise, multiple stores.
Maybe we are the only one that has so many brands.
Yeah.
Maybe other groups they have like 2 brands in average.
Yeah.
So you see the concentration of groups like us, and then you have a few kind of salons that very known because of expat, or very known because there is a Lebanese hairdresser, star kind of
It's kind of a star salon or a well-known name, yeah.
Well-named about a fantastic location, maybe in Burj Al Arab. So you have these kinds. And then there is a lot of like smaller salons, independents, less structure if you want.
Nice.
But one of the point of difference that has always been in our brands since inception, even before we bought them, it was hygiene. So when you go in every of our stores, all material has been used, either is like disposable or is sanitized at the hospital level. So every kind of scissors is sanitized. When they open the bag in front of you. Every comb is sanitized. Everything, the level of hygiene that we have.
Even before COVID, yeah. It's just,
even before COVID.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was when we started COVID, we have municipality calling us and looking what we do, because we have always been
highly visible
and highly like focused on that.
Yeah.
And there is no cutting corners on that.
Yeah, because it is your point of difference.
It's one of the point of difference,
yeah.
Exactly. And it was already before, right? It always been there. So that's why I think when you go to have services in a brand that is known, that has a reputation, that stand for something in the market, and now I think we'll discuss it later on. Also, our green initiative is kind of the important part of the value we have. You choose also the security to have a service in a safe place. You choose also to have, as I said, a high level hygiene. You also choose to go in a salon that has to hold a reputation, meaning that they invest in education, that make sure that the quality that is delivered is high. You always have like one of you person complaining. That's normal. And it happens, right? Nobody is perfect, but we strive to perfection.
And one of the competitor type is maybe, you correct me if it's in the same brackets, but brands like yours that are chains in other markets that decide to enter here, do you see them as sort of?
Not really. I think
it's hard to market entry. Isn't it?
I don't think really brands coming from abroad now. It's more brands that are born here, and in the past, many copied each other, right? So they all look a bit, or they more have a bit the same kind of direction. Yeah. But it's good because at the end, consumer that they choose this kind of brand, they know what they buy for, right?
Yeah.
And they, as I said, they don't buy only a functionality, but they buy also an experience, or they buy security, or they buy some values of a company has. And
if you saw, an independent that sort of aligned with your values, would that be something that you guys would look to acquire as well and put it under the group?
We are always open to see what the market is going, if there is opportunities. As at the end, the holding is a financial kind of, it's a private equity, right? If opportunity arises, we are always, sometimes people reach out to us and we look at it and is interesting or less interesting or yes.
And what I want to ask again about private equity, and we'll touch on that, but what about the sort of, services, post-COVID world, the makeup of the business? It's still about people. There are some products, but essentially it's not a very digital business. And you come from although your family background and you inherently understand the service industry around beauty, but you come from a sort of a company that was very much in product and marketing and not necessarily in services. How do you, Lorenzo, marry that in the role that you're doing at the moment versus how do you position your group for the changing behaviors and the digital world?
But if you want, in the background, this is like what I explained to you until now is what a consumer sees. Right?
Okay.
In the background, we are very much data-driven company. So all our operation, they all work on the same ERP system, that is SAP. We all work with the same POS system. All the data we capture is there to take decision for us. So we work with data a lot. And then we put also our experience from the consumer journey. But it's a marriage between data and understanding the consumer, understanding the market in a qualitative way.
Are they stuff where you've licensed, or is there anything proprietary?
We have proprietary is our app. So we launched our app 2 years ago, and we still are improving our app. In the background is the same proprietary technology that we then decline on N.bar, 8047, Sisters, Trevor Sorby. So as a consumer, you get the branding, but in the back scene is the same technology.
Yeah.
And this also fulfills one of our goals for the green initiative, is like to recycle and reduce paper. So we want to recycle 100% of the paper we use and produce less paper. And getting digital is one of our initiatives. We are just testing. We are just creating an internal digital kind of marketing group that is going to serve all our brands. And the idea is to ramp up digital and the digital proposition in the future.
So
it's
digital,
one of our roadmaps.
So digital very much in terms of especially scaling across markets. It's very much in infrastructure investments, both with software and proprietary, and then in marketing. So reaching consumers.
Yes.
So although the physical experience, there won't be robots doing one's nails, the sort of before and after touch points can be digital.
Exactly. So if you look at our new stores, they hardly have a reception today. So we innovated in saying, okay, why do we want to have people that are like hostess? Like, it's like, the idea is like we arrive on a Apple store and you're received by a host. So this same idea. So we also tested some self check-in, or in the future we are going to see different kind of what technology can help us to have a seamless experience.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
The app is doing well. In some brands now we have 40% of booking via the app. But as I said, we can evolve it. We can, on the app now today, you can also buy products. So one of the projects after COVID, we launched e-commerce direct to consumer. It's called beautytribe.com. And the differentiation of beautytribe.com versus the rest of beauty marketplaces is that we deliver in 3 hours. And is that because we have all this knowledge of stylists, of therapists, we know what are the products that are selling well. We know the best products that are on the market. So we create the assortment of beautytribe.com via the expertise of our pros. So the proposition is Beauty Tribe is beauty by the pro, by the professional. And it's something also that is like embedded in our website of all our brands, is embedded in the app. So if somebody forgets to buy something after the salon visits, they can always click on the button and choose what they need and be delivered in 3 hours.
Brilliant. Yeah, definitely what us consumers are these days. We just expect things that soon, don't we? But we're spoiled. And it's interesting to see that you have progressed in the digital space. So can you tell us, you touched on it, but the sustainability initiative as well as being digital, is that aligned with country targets on carbon emissions, or is that?
Exactly. So more or less there are two things. One is like I'm quite passionate about this subject because of my previous life. I was working on a brand that was really much playing in the sustainability area. So it was like my daily DNA was sustainability. And the second thing, when I arrived end of 2018, I saw what was the position of the country, what was like the roadmap of the country. And I started to look, okay, in our business, we calculated when you do shampoos, like in the backwash, you use plastic, right? Not what we sell, but what we use. Only what we use is 2.5 tons of plastic of what we use. So you cannot change everything one day or the other one. And by the way, in this field, nothing is perfect. So you could say, okay, we do this one, but then this one maybe has another impact. So this is a field that nothing is perfect, right? But it's not a reason why you should not start having an impact, right? Every small step helps, right? So we decided this year to recycle all the plastic, all the glass, and everything we use in our salons. So we want to recycle the 2.5 tons of plastics across. This is what consumers don't see, but this is what we do across all our salons in Dubai. And this also reflects what is like the vision of Dubai, like to reduce, reuse, right? This goes in this direction. The other thing is like we change all. It's a stupid thing. We change all our coffee machines. Before we were using coffee machine with this
the plastic
pods.
Yeah.
So we were kind of throwing away 130 kilos of plastic of pods. And it was quite an easy one, right? We replaced all the machine with a new machine with just the beans.
Yeah.
It's a better experience for the consumer. It smells coffee and
less pollution, less
it's
plastic.
less pollution. And by the way, the coffee is also better. So everybody wins in this story. So we have 3 buckets. The buckets of plastic and recycling. We have the bucket of be more digital and reduce paper. And then we have another big one that is very relevant for this region, and it is about water wastage. So a salon in a year use 60,000 liters of water, right? Also us in our life, if you take a bath, you use 240 liters. If you take a shower of 10 minutes, you use 120 liters. So if you can do your shower in 5 minutes, you will use 60 liters. And if you will buy a device to do the shower, so what we use in all our showers in the group is a Swiss technology. It's called JOSA, and reduce water consumption by 65%. So you can really, with baby steps, have an impact on everybody will say, okay, what it means saving, I don't know, 80 liters of water. I mean, 80 liters of water a day across a population of 9 million is a lot of water, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And especially when you think that the water we need also to burn petrol to get it that we can shower and so on, is a huge impact, right?
Yeah.
So what we started to do is changing all the shower heads, and also in the basins where we clean, we shampoo the hair. Also that we have changed this, we reduce the water consumption by 65%.
It's good to have a CEO that has a passion about sustainability, and you seem to have a really good grasp, like just those 3 bucket areas. I want to ask about the future. We're kind of running out of time, but a nice segue into that is, are the initiatives that you're doing in the green initiatives and sustainability, do they help the business? And bearing in mind that you are owned by private equity, which usually, I'm not generalizing, I don't know, but usually the focus is on profits. So how do you sell that in? How do you sell green initiative in?
Yeah, but this is like a pre-concept. Everybody thinks that doing green costs more.
Yeah.
In reality, this example that I gave you,
coffee,
right, about the shower heads at your home, you will invest 400 dirhams to a shower head. You will save 65% of water. In 18 months, you're making money. You're not making money, but your investment is paid, right?
Fair, but
many times, many of these initiatives at the end they have an impact on the, if you want, on sustainability, but they have also a financial impact, because wasting less, it means also wasting less money.
True, but the key word you used was invest.
Yes.
And if you're focused on profits, it's hard to invest always.
Yeah, but you always need to look at the medium and long term, right?
Okay.
If everything is done a short term, you will do the wrong decision anyway.
And what is the medium?
You need kind of a vision to see, okay, where you want to land.
Where do they want to land?
we want to land in expanding more in the UAE. So like I told you, like Abu Dhabi for us is kind of a virgin market.
Yeah.
Secondly, we want to expand our concept because we know that the concept work very well here. We have started testing them around the world. So we want to internationalize. And I think it's a great opportunity also to bring a piece of Dubai outside of Dubai.
To create more value for the business.
Exactly.
Okay.
And franchising is the way. So franchising, we started franchising 8047, as I told you, N.bar. The next brand is Strip, hair removal experts. So this is the next step. And then of course, it's like, if there is new opportunity arising, if there are new brands, maybe that we want to add to the portfolio, this is also one of the steps. We are always open and we're always looking at opportunity for the future.
Interesting. Lorenzo, you've been here 4 years. You've lived everywhere around the world or visited many places. What's your view on the region as an emerging market? Are you bullish about the region and why?
When you look at what's going on in the world at the moment, right? Post-COVID and war and all this kind of thing. I think this region in the next year will do very well. When you see how many new people are reaching Dubai, when you see the region and the project and the aspiration of the nation, how strong they are. When you see, I travel quite a lot also at the moment, but sometimes I arrive some country, I feel depressed how everything is slow and everything is like as it was yesterday. Here we're always looking how we can be tomorrow.
True.
So I think in this region, I find a bit the same vibe and dynamics that I found like 5-6 years ago in Asia, where you would go to Seoul and 3 months later we'll go back to Seoul and you will see a new building. And I feel the same vibe this year. Yeah. And honestly, in my career, I don't know why, but I've always been in the right country at the right moment.
That's great.
And I feel the same for Dubai. So I'm very positive for the future. And I'm in beauty, and beauty also in the biggest crisis has always been resilient. I don't know if you know the lipstick index. The lipstick index is like, it's a concept created by Mr. Lauder, that is like the owner of Estee Lauder. And I think it was 30 years ago. He noticed that when there is crisis, the sales of lipstick is still going up.
Yeah.
So you will have, in crisis, people need to cut. Yeah. But beauty is maybe one of the more resilient kind of industry because you always need to spend a little bit to feel better and to feel pampered or to feel better with yourself. And it's not a big investment. So it's a good place to be. So beauty industry, I'm positive. Dubai, I'm super positive. So I'm very happy to be here.
Amazing. Good note to finish on, and very optimistic points as well. Thanks so much for being transparent today and sharing, and we'll know a lot more about your franchise brands as well in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
I really enjoyed that. What a nice guy Vincenzo is. Besides that, friendly Swiss approach is clearly a strong business acumen, balancing everything from technology services to business expansion. So it's really good to hear insights about that industry, and I learned a lot. I hope you did too. I'd like to thank Shahir, our producer, for putting that together, bringing the content, and then Ali for working on all the audio and all the video. If you're listening on a podcast, please do like, subscribe, and share on Apple, Spotify, Anghami, Podio. If you're watching on video, you're probably watching on smashy.tv. If you know, it's also on the website. It's on iOS and Android mobile apps, but also on many of the smart TV devices as well. We'll be back next week, as always, 11 a.m. on Fridays, and chat to you then.